Number 10, we have a fraction that we want to change to a percent. There's actually two ways to do this, depending on if you want decimals or if you want whole numbers. So I'm going to show you both ways. If I have 3 over 2 and I want it as a percent, one way is to make an equivalent fraction. This only works if the denominator divides evenly into 100, which in all three of these cases do. 100 divided by 2 is 50, so 2 times 50 is 100. So I'd have to take 3 times 50, which is 150. 150 over 100 is 150%. So 3 halves, which is an improper fraction, is 150%. If you think about a common thing, the number 1 whole circle is 100%. If my fraction is bigger than 1, I should have a bigger than 100%. If my fraction is less than 1, I should have less than 100%. The other way to do this is to change your fraction to a decimal. 3 divided by 2, 3 halves. 3 divided by 2 is 1.5. I still have to times it by 100, however, to add the percent sign. So if I move my decimal 2 places, hey, I get the same answer, 150%. So you can either change it to a decimal and multiply by 100, or make an equivalent fraction if the denominator goes into 100. In this case, 3/4. Again, 4 goes into 100 evenly, so I could do it this way. 4 goes into 100 25 times, so 3 times 25 is 75. 75% is going to be my answer then. Otherwise, I can do 3 divided by 4. It gives me a decimal. 3 divided by 4 is 0.75. I times it by 100 to add the percent, move it 2 places, and I see, oh, I got the exact same answer, whether I did the fraction or the decimal. You can't always do the fraction, but you can always do the division. Sometimes you have to round your answers if it happens to tell you to round, but it gives you a couple different options of what you can do. 4/5 to a percent. 4/5, again, 5 does divide into 100 nicely, so I could say 5 goes into 100 20 times. 20 times 4 is 80, so 80%, got my answer. Or 4 divided by 5. 4 divided by 5 gives me 0.8. I have to times it by 100 to add the percent sign, so move it 2 places, 0.8, 80%. Either way, I get the same answer. So it's kind of a matter of preference. However, if you'd have something like 2/3, 3 doesn't go into 100, you'd have to do it the other way. You have to say 2 divided by 3, and this one you're going to have to round because it doesn't come out nice. 2 divided by 3 is 0.666666666. So if it says round to the nearest tenth of a percent, I move my decimal 2 places, 66 point, and I'd have to round that off to 7% if it happened to tell me to round to the nearest tenth of a percent like those ones do. So, 2 options for changing a fraction to a percent. Either make the equivalent fraction over 100 or divide it out and then change your decimal to a percent. So, that's the end of that first worksheet, day 9, or at least the first worksheet in the decimal section.